GLP-1 access is under its most serious threat yet. And yes, this affects everyone, insurance included. Last December, I started a petition to fight for affordable access to GLP-1 medications. People were losing access and they were losing hope. Almost exactly 1 year later, we've come full circle. Dave Knapp from On the Pen has started a new petition to stop the Safe Drugs Act. And we need all of the help we can get. But before you say that petitions have no power, here's what the petition for access actually accomplished. It was the inspiration for this podcast, the studio, and the GLP-1 Collective nonprofit. It was sent to the FDA twice, USPTO, and several members of Congress. It led to 12 media interviews, but most importantly, it brought 27,000 people together and turned me into the advocate that I am today. Petitions don't have power. People do. And I want to see this petition reach 50,000 signatures. Keep an eye out for GLP-1 Studio's upcoming newsletter for more details. Now let's get to it.
You're listening to the GLP-1 Studio podcast.
Today I am joined by BioCare's Vice President of Marketing, Caroline Colavita, and parent company Robard Corporation's Vice President of Sales, Mario Testa. We're talking all things protein. If you're on a GLP-1, you've probably seen BioCare around saying that it's scientifically formulated specifically for GLP-1 patients. And maybe you wondered if you should be using it. Follow along with this episode and you'll find out if it's for you. I met both of you personally at Obesity Week, and you had several community-based GLP-1 meetups. And I am grateful for that time because I got to meet so many people, and you guys were just so lovable.
Thank you.
Let's get into who you are.
I am Caroline Colavita. I'm the Vice President of Marketing for Robard Corporation, which is the loving founder of BioCare Nutrition. Also had BioCare Baddie, which is probably how most of people know me at this point. And with me, I have Mario Testa, who heads our sales and has been a Robard devotee for 10 years now.
10 years. Yeah. So thanks for having us, Amanda. We appreciate it. As Caroline said, I'm Mario Testa, Vice President of Sales for Robard Corporation. I'm learning to become a BioCare baddie through the leadership of Caroline through her trials and tribulations with this brand. You know, proud to have been here at Robard for 10 years. And my role is really focused specifically on the weight management side, although there's a huge component of BioCare to that, but that's where my focus resides with our core legacy products.
And now I am also in training to be a BioCare baddie, and I'm proud of it.
Yes, we're going to have an army.
I think you've earned your badge, Amanda. Absolutely.
I don't know if you can see the BioCare bottle back there, but it's going to be in every video now.
Love it.
We're obsessed.
Let's get into who you are personally, and then what got you into BioCare and Robard. And let's start with you, Mario. So what was your background before jumping in here, and why did you get involved with Robard?
Yeah, absolutely. So my background has always been in healthcare, specifically healthcare IT and device. And I've always worked for startup companies my entire professional career. It was a wonderful roller coaster ride. It was very exciting, particularly when I was a lot younger and I didn't have a family. But as I started to have a family and raising young children, you start thinking about things a little bit differently. And so you move on to the next startup and then the next startup. And one day I woke up and I said, you know what? I'm not quite sure I want to keep assuming that risk anymore, even though it's a lot of fun. I've helped take 2 companies public, which has been absolutely wonderful.
Congrats.
Thank you. But I decided that I really wanted to be a part of an organization that I knew had more long-term stability. You know, when you're working for startup companies, particularly in healthcare or healthcare IT, you're only as good as your last quarter, and you can only survive as long as your next round of funding. And you get tired of being governed by investors or a board of directors. And so when I decided to make the proactive search for my next role, a lot of opportunities came along, and I was focused in the healthcare IT world. However, this opportunity came along and I said, wow, this looks interesting. It's close by. I get to go into an office every day. new experience, new product vertical. Let me explore this a little bit more deeply. And really, after my second interview, a light bulb went off and I said, you know what? That is absolutely the company that I want to be a part of. The culture here was amazing, is amazing.
You can see that.
I was, yeah, right. And I was really hooked from that point forward. So fast forward 10 years later, and here I am, right? And I only wish, Amanda, that I found Robard years earlier in my career. But in the 10 years that I've been here, I've had the wonderful opportunity to introduce new products to market and most recently work alongside of Caroline and her team as they launched this incredible product, BioCare.
That's like the perfect transition. Let's get into it, Caroline. How did you get started?
I actually started my entire career in the fashion world in something so completely different. I have been in retail and direct to consumer for the better half of my life. So honestly, I was, doing the whole New York City thing, the whole fashion world, and it was burning me out and I needed something different. And, in that world, the constant conversation is we're not saving lives, we're not curing cancer, you're just selling a garment. And it just felt like I could be doing more to have a real impact in people's lives. So I started looking around for something closer to home. This opportunity came up, and very similarly, I met people here and I was divided between roles, couldn't figure it out. And I thought, this is something new, different. And the vibe here is just so family oriented and it felt right. I can't explain it. It just felt easy. It felt right. And now I'm coming up on 2 years. Literally 2 weeks after I started, we launched the BioCare website. So I was thrown in. It was, we're going to get started. We're going to do this right now. I actually personally had been going through my own weight loss journey, trying to figure things out, trying to understand just a new space in my body. I had gone through a hysterectomy the year prior. My body was still just figuring out what this new world and landscape looked like. With launching BioCare and seeing all these real user stories and testimonies and me trying to put my face out there to encourage people to take the product actually encouraged me to start taking one. So I started taking a GLP-1 back in March. So I'm 7-ish months in, almost 40 pounds down.
Awesome.
So thank you. It's crazy because now, I think myself and my team who are taking the medications, we also can speak from a very personal standpoint as to the impact of these medications, the impact of our product, and everything that comes along with it. And we can bring that back to the team here to really share personal stories from the community, and just bring a whole new perspective to what the weight loss management space looks like these days.
When you first started, you were not a patient. And were you drawn to BioCare or Robard? Were you drawn to this company because they were helping people with weight loss?
Yeah. And more so, the conversations that I had when I was interviewing here, it was not the vanity of weight loss. It was not the vanity that I was used to in the fashion world. It was weight loss for those people who are genuinely struggling. Weight loss for people who need surgery. Surgery could be knee replacement. It could be bariatric surgery. These are people who have struggled their entire life, and we are providing truly life-changing products for them. It's not 5 pounds before swim season. It's not let me squeeze into a size 2 wedding gown. I mean, this is life-changing conversations, and that's what drew me in.
And even prior to BioCare, there are patients that their sole source of food are our products.
Yeah.
And so, we take that very seriously. Just as Caroline went on her journey through GLP-1 medications and has taken BioCare to help her get through that back in 2016, 2017, before GLP-1 medications were the thing, I started to consume our product at a regular basis. I still consume it today, but I went on a strict regimen where I lost 55 pounds.
And you've kept it off.
Well, for the most part, I mean,
you look great.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you. I have put a little bit of weight back on, but I still use our product as a maintenance product to help supplement my food intake. And as a result, I have been able to keep off most of that weight that I've lost.
Amazing. Okay, so we had a really cool experience when we were out at the cantina.
Yeah.
And there was someone who showed up and they showed up for Robard. This was an obesity specialist who owned several clinics in the Atlanta area who had been using Robard's products for how long?
They've been in business for over 20 years, but they've been using Robard products for about half that time.
Right. How were they using them? How are your products helping clinics like this help their patients?
So thank you for bringing that up. It was a pleasant surprise that they showed up at the BioCare event, but I think that that's very telling relative to our continued progressive nature of our offering. So Robard's nucleus is and always will be weight loss. Our core products that really have kept us in existence over the last 5 decades will always be the core of everything that we do. But we're not naive, nor are our customers naive. We can't continue to do things the same way that we've been doing them for decades when we know that new solutions are needed. And so, what that customer recognized, and for the reason for showing up at that event, was because they realize that they too have been doing things the same way for a long time. What they're doing now that was so successful previously to help maintain the momentum of their business over the last 2 decades is showing signs of weakness. And so they came to that event for 2 reasons. Number one, they wanted to learn a little bit more about what was going on with BioCare and, what is this community that you guys have that seems so exciting. But the second reason that they came, which I think is very profound in a good way, is that they were humble enough to know that they don't know what they need to do to change to remain relevant in today's weight management space. And so they came there to socialize some thoughts and ideas, both Caroline and I, from a marketing standpoint, from a sales standpoint, but both of us from an executive perspective, were able to provide them with some thoughts and some recommendations at a very high level that will set us up for some future calls here in the next week or two, so we could talk about a little bit more long-term strategy. And that's really what we're finding out from a lot of our customers right now. And if I can just digress just a little bit.
Absolutely. Yes.
Obviously going back 5 years ago, COVID changed the landscape for a lot of things, right? And that was before the GLP-1 phenomenon effect took place.
Don't even get me started on the school systems.
Oh yeah, I hear you. Bless you. Yeah, I have 2 kids, but thankfully they're a little bit older now. But that combined now with what the GLP-1 phenomenon has created, it's a perfect storm in our industry right now, right? And what we're recognizing is that while the core foundation of our business of weight loss remains in place and will always remain in place, we've been able to open up our company, a company that has been here for 50 years, many employees that have been here almost that entire time, to shift our focus and realizing that there are things that we need to do different. These things are very uncomfortable in a lot of different ways.
Change is hard.
Right? Change is really difficult, and it's hard for us from a sales and marketing standpoint. But the reality is this: our customers are coming to us and saying, please help.
Yeah.
Anything you can do, anything that you can share, any guidance, any support would be much appreciated. And that's really where we thrive. Yeah. That's not only where we thrive as a company, but that's where we thrive in our product offering, because now instead of being myopic and just saying we only have weight loss products or weight loss solutions, we can now say that we're panoramic, right? So we have multiple collaterals now. So we have weight loss products, we have overall health and nutrition products and programs. Now we have products that are associated directly toward GLP-1 medications. So
Thank you.
We're no longer a single threaded solution. We're a multi-solution company that has basically everything that you'll need to help your practice thrive and survive for the long term.
You bring up a really good point. Even companies like Noom, who were originally doing supplements to help people lose weight, they had to shift and they started selling, I think, compounded GLP-1s because the landscape has shifted so much. It's wonderful that you're not just selling compounded medications, but you're selling a supplement that GLP-1 patients can genuinely benefit from. I know I drink BioCare, not just because I'm a BioCare baddie, but because I'm a GLP-1 patient And we take protein very seriously. I got a Sika scan while I was at Obesity Week. I did an interview with Dr. Nina Crowley. She works for Sika, and they do full body scans that are like 97% to an MRI. So it's like imaging without getting full on imaging. And my muscle was actually in a healthy range. And it was such a relief because I'm not sure if you have this experience, Caroline, but when you're a GLP-1 patient, you hear about protein, 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 and how you have to resistance train and make sure you're not losing muscle. And these are really important things. But I'm not killing myself working out like I used to when I was super overweight. And I'm maintaining a healthy amount of muscle.
Good
Congratulations.
for
That's
you.
wonderful.
I mean, it's daunting when you start these medications because you go on TikTok or you go online or your doctor is saying you need to focus on protein, you need to lift weights, you need to do this. Don't forget fiber, don't forget magnesium. And then you're just so overwhelmed
Yes.
with something that's already, at least for me, it's already uncomfortable to begin with. You're injecting yourself, or in my case, my husband has to do it weekly because I'm too scared to do it myself. So there's a lot of unknown. And then, if you're talking about brand versus compound, I struggled with moving to the compound route for a while because I just, I didn't know what I was getting. And I've since done that. And even now I send all the paperwork to my GP because, again, I don't know. But to your point about protein and muscle loss, it's interesting because we just had this conversation internally, which is a lot of documentation we're working on today, is how would I know if I'm losing muscle mass? Like, I don't know because I don't scan myself, and I wasn't an avid weightlifter, but I swim and I walk a lot with my dogs and I do things like that. But okay, I've lost all this weight. I don't know how I would know. And I don't know how the average person would know, but I think there's this fear tactic out there right now talking about protein. And we just discussed last week, Pop-Tarts is coming out with protein. Doritos is coming out with protein. And I think it just negates so much of the hard work we've done to make better choices that now, there's going to be stuff where you're like, well, Doritos is protein. So I'm getting my protein and
Must
great.
be good.
Right. Like, okay, I don't have to focus on lean meats and fiber and everything else that's better for me. And these choices that we're supposed to be making, it's just like, great, I can do the exact same thing that I was doing before and get 12 grams of protein. And I think it's going to start to be more confusing than it already is.
Good that you bring that up because I think there is definitely a difference between a BioCare shake that has all of the nutrients that you need in it versus a bag of Doritos that have protein powder on them. And they're still a nice treat, but it is still a treat, right? And it's a treat I can feel a little bit less guilty about, but it's still a treat. And you definitely don't want that to be your main source of protein. You want to try to get all of the good stuff that you can in because we're eating less. And honestly, if I did not have a protein shake every day, I don't think I would be able to fit in enough. I've never been a huge meat eater. I'll eat meat, but I will not be able to eat enough to hit my protein goals. I cannot force that down. So it's imperative that I have some source that I can fit into my daily schedule. Now, we talked about muscle loss when we were at the cantina. You said, "How would I even know?" And I said, "I think you'll start to notice some things like your butt sagging." Your butt is one of the biggest muscles in your body. And people talk about Ozempic butt, but I think that that's actually a thing. And I don't know how much of that is just skin, like loose skin, because when you lose a lot of weight, it doesn't matter how you lost it, you will have loose skin. We all live with this low level fear, and there is certainly fear mongering out there, especially I think in like the fitness culture, like with fitness influencers and trainers who are afraid about losing their jobs, saying, "Oh, you're muscle loss, you're all going to be saggy sacks of skin."
Right. You're going to be a bag of skin and bones.
Yeah. So it was a great relief for me. Thank you for creating the products that you do. I'm sure that it has contributed to my success. I'm sure it has.
After all of the time we spent last week, I took all of those notes and all of the feedback from the community and brought them back to the executive team to discuss, okay, what are additional ways that we can leverage what we're already good at, what we're already doing to bring to this community? It doesn't have to always be, to your point, this full, huge meal and loads of protein, but sometimes you need something. And I personally would rather a healthier choice than a bag of chips or another coffee on the go or something that may not be the best option for me.
But even in addition to that, the BioCare product, 30 grams of protein, it's fully fortified with all the vitamins and minerals. Even if you're consuming 2-3 servings of BioCare a day, you're intaking the required protein, the required vitamins and minerals that you need. But aside from that, we didn't just create a wonderful product and put it in a box and say, here you go, here it is, it works, I promise you. We have a lot of support and tools and resources behind that product. So we can not only educate our customers as clinicians about that product and how to position that product and how to use that product with their GLP-1 patients, but we can also provide that content in a scaled down version so they can begin to properly educate their patients as well. They need to make their patients understand, right? Amanda, you said it yourself. Those Dorito Pop-Tart with protein now snacks are great, but they're just that, they're snacks. But not all proteins created equal.
That part.
Right? Not all proteins created equal. And we use nothing but the highest of quality proteins. So that coupled with a lot of other technical or scientific stuff goes into BioCare. But again, it goes beyond the product. It goes with the support and the services that we offer as part of a complete GLP-1 nutrition ecosystem that we can offer to our clinics and our clinics can offer to their patients.
You pass it down to the clinicians who are then able to help their patients with it. And then patients by word of mouth are able to share their experiences. So that works wonderfully. But you said something there that stuck with me. I was talking to my husband who said that he'd heard on the news that protein was a real problem because there were high amounts of lead in these protein supplements and that they were just flying off the shelves and everyone wants protein in everything. There's protein in your cereal. There's protein in your Pop-Tarts. And we're just getting these crazy amounts of lead now and we don't even know it. And so the first thing that I wanted to know is, oh my gosh, is this third party tested? Because I think that's the only way you'll actually know. I know you guys heard that same news report and I'm wondering what your actions were.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's a fair question, right? And people panic when they hear something like that. Oh my gosh, I'm consuming lead. I can just share with you, we received a number of emails and phone calls from our customers that said, hey, I read that consumer report. Did you happen to see it? Can you help me understand what do your products look like? Now, first of all, that recent report that came out from Consumer Report was on BuzzFeed, among other online articles, was really mainly referring to pea protein sources. But aside from that, we don't add any lead to our product. But there's lead in everything, Amanda, right? There's lead in those headphones that you're wearing and that microphone that you're speaking into and this pen that I'm holding.
Right.
There's lead in everything. But at what levels are these lead? And is it added lead or is it naturally occurring lead? So as an example, Robard can't defend that the grass that the cow ate wasn't fertilized with lead-based fertilizer from the farmer that fed their cows that produced the milk that is used in the protein in our products, right? But what I can tell you is that we have third-party tested all of our products, both of our flagship products, our New Direction product, our New Metro product, and our BioCare product. And they have near untraceable amounts of lead in those products to the extent where you'd have to consume depending upon the product, you'd have to consume between 16 and 24 servings a day of that product in an effort to meet, I think it's 8.8 micrograms per day. That's what the benchmark is. So yes, do we have lead in our product? Yes. It's naturally occurring lead. It's not added lead, just like every other product around us has. But the level of that naturally occurring lead in the product is so small, it's nearly undetectable.
Is there somewhere where we could see the results from the third party test?
If somebody requested those, sure, we can share that.
And I will say that, truly, the moment this came out, we sent all of our products out.
Proactively.
Tested. We knew that this was going to come up. It was a hot topic. We took it and immediately wanted to, get that covered.
Yeah.
Good, because you're right. I think it's spun everyone out into a panic and we're all reading our protein products like, oh my gosh, what do I do? It actually got me thinking do I need to be concerned about my collagen?
See?
Because I use collagen too. I put collagen in my coffee.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it like, I think I need to make sure I'm getting one that's third-party tested now because I don't even know about this. I think that the manufacturing process naturally, I don't think there's any way you could never, ever, ever have any amount of lead in anything manufactured.
Not all proteins are
No.
created equal relative to where it's sourced and how it's tested and how it's monitored, et cetera, et cetera. So, that's why we're a trusted source. That's why people rely, but more importantly, they trust in our products.
I'm going to interrupt this episode to share something super fun that my son made. I heard that my favorite protein is now on the shelves at Hy-Vee, so I'm going to check it out. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right, let's go. Do you think it's really going to be there?
Probably.
When you're losing weight on a GLP-1, you're not just losing fat, you're also losing lean mass. And part of that lean mass is unfortunately muscle. But you can minimize the amount of muscle that you lose by getting adequate amounts of protein and resistance training in. That's how I've been able to maintain my muscle. We're here. Got my Pro GLP-1 tote ready. Let's go shopping. I'll bet it's in the health food section. Okay, we're in the health food aisle. Let's try the next aisle over. Fingers crossed. It has to be here somewhere. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I found it. I found it. I found it. Check it out. They have 3 different versions. Oh, I'm so excited. Wow, they have a whole box. I thought it was going to be like a small pack. So this is chocolate, vanilla, and variety pack. That is a big old box. I'm going to buy all of them. Let's go. Let's check out. That's actually all we came for. Thank you so much. All right. Let's try it. Strawberries and cream. That's my favorite. Time to get my protein in. That's really good. That little adventure was way too fun. Now, back to the show. Caroline, let's start with you. What is your favorite story? Because you're, I think, in the community with these patients, like in the trenches, right?
Yeah. I think for me, it was truly eye-opening and a game changer when we did our first meetup here in Philadelphia. And, my team and I, we've been going live on TikTok. We're promoting it. We chat with people, we make videos, but getting that in-person reaction and meeting these people, like one of the influencers came up and she was just like, we were friends and that was that. Like we just knew each other. And I was just like, this is the weirdest thing, but I love this so much. Like it made it so real to me that it was beyond a job. This is beyond so much more. This is so much bigger. And I think we're just at the beginning of this. And for me to realize that I'm in the start of something really major, I'm part of this community, somehow I'm making an impact on people's lives. That was a real light bulb moment for me. And I think seeing that, and there's always things going on behind the scenes of people's lives, but like it was 2 to 3 hours on a Saturday afternoon that just changed this for me. So it's crazy. I've never had that in my career. I've never had that before. So it was just really
It's great.
wild for me.
And I think you'd mentioned before that you're actually working on creating a community around BioCare, that you're not interested in just selling a product, but that you want a foundation for people to come to where they feel connected to other patients.
Yeah. And, I think, again, from seeing this from my own perspective, starting not being on a GLP-1, now being on one, there's so much misinformation. There is a huge lack of information. We hear from people all the time where their doctors just like, well, just, I'll prescribe it to you and lift weights. And that's that. You'll be fine. And I think, this is the first time that a community online has come together in such a nice, supportive way that it's so lovely to see this and be a part of it. But also, I think because we know from the weight management space here at Robard, people have gone through ups and downs, climbing mountains, trying to do all these things and nothing works and they're at their lowest mentally and they don't know what else to do. You feel alone. And that's not what we're here for. We're here to share information, share tips, share recipes, share workout routines, whatever it may be. We're in this together, and we as a company are here to support you and to support you long term. If you want to transition and just drink a shake a day for maintenance, great. Go live your best life. We'd love that for you. But can you also share your tips and secrets with the rest of us who are at the beginning figuring this out? Because it's scary and you do feel alone. And if you go on the internet, there are some mean people out there. Like this community, I can't even explain how nice these people are to each other. We've met up in real life, and every single interaction is just so lovely, and we get each other. We know how isolating it can be, and now we are able to come together, live our best lives, and share that with others. So it's really important, I think.
It is definitely something else. This space is like no other. It's amazing. Well, Mario, what's your favorite story? You've been with the company for 10 years, right? So you've got to have some experience out there that's been special to you.
There is actually. And so it was about halfway through my tenure here at the company, about the 5-year point, which was also a really difficult time for all of us, right? And that was COVID. So COVID hits, the world shuts down, hospitals can't intake patients, clinics can't intake patients, but yet, as I shared with you earlier, Amanda, many patients rely on our products as their sole source of nutrition, period. I recognized at that point in time, the thing that's most memorable to me, the gravity of that impact when patients were calling in to our customers' offices and saying, "What do you mean I can't come in? Can you bring it out to me? Can you just leave it out the door? I have nothing to eat. I'm going to run out," and they're panicking. So all of a sudden we were inundated with phone calls and emails from our customers that said, "Guys, please, what can you do to help us get food to our patients? We have to keep our clinics running. We have to keep the doors open." So, I share with you at the beginning, Amanda, that my background is in basically healthcare startup. And even though Robard's been around we'll be celebrating 50 years next June. We've been around for about 5 decades. We still have that feel of a startup environment. And I'll tell you why. Because at that point in time in 2020, I walked down the hall to my president's office and I grabbed my VP of operations and we sat down and I said, we need to figure out how we can start shipping out products directly to patients. And within 2 business weeks, we developed and built our own e-store and fulfillment model. And we started fulfilling orders through email orders from customers. And we started shipping them directly to their patients. We never did this before in the history of our company. This was brand new. But let me tell you something, Amanda. Fast forward that 5 years to today, we now have over 200 e-stores that we've built and that we manage for customers.
Wow.
We are shipping out fulfillment orders by the hundred, if not the thousands,
That's thousands.
the thousands weekly. And it is actually the most rapidly growing vertical in our company right now. And so to me, that was incredibly memorable, starting out with something where a patient called in and said, "Help me." A customer called in and said, "Help me help my patients." And here we are today sitting on top of over 200 e-stores and thousands of orders that we're shipping out a week.
So before you were just shipping product in bulk to clinics specifically.
That's correct. And then they would distribute that in their clinics as patients would go in and have their visit. They would hand them a couple boxes of product and off they go. Well, now today we can meet them halfway, right? So they can still offer those products in their clinics, but they now have this ancillary service model that offers intrinsic value to their patients while also generates additional revenue for them.
Have you seen an increase in sales because of that?
COVID did a lot of things, including erode some of these clinics. But what we have seen is it's allowed our customers to remain competitive in this space. And one of the great things about Robard versus anybody else that is a peer in our space is that they're focused on the superficial things, make a new shake, make a new delivery system, launch a new bar. We're focused on those things too, but we're also equally focused on how we could continue to add business value to our customers. And this is one of those models, because the reality, Amanda, is consumers, as you know, we're all consumers, right? We all buy things online. We come to expect the ease and the convenience of doing that today. That, our weight management providers, whether they're selling BioCare, they're selling, our New Direction or our New Metra weight management product, they're not excluded by that. And so they need to remain equally competitive. If their patient can't get it from them in that ease of use model, they're going to go find somebody where they can. And so we've allowed them to remain competitive in that capacity.
COVID did something kind of good for you guys then, getting you online, because it's definitely the majority of shopping, if it's not already now, is done online. It just is. I was just talking to my son about how sad it is that malls are closing, and I'm like, it's sad, but I'm not going but once in a blue moon just for the experience.
I'll go to the mall to return something I bought online.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So it's a good thing you guys have got that model going.
Well, and people are moving to telehealth. So many
Yes.
medical professionals, so many people in this, so many people in general, but there's a lot moving to telehealth. So maybe they have one clinic instead of 5. They've got a shelf with their best sellers, but now they can say, okay, if you're looking for a soup or a different flavor, go check out my e-store. You can take your chocolate and vanilla home today. You have something in hand, but you've got now a world of other options that they wouldn't be able to even inventory.
Yeah.
So that's huge too. So it allows the patients to have more options than they would in a totally different landscape.
You just said soup.
I did
And
say
now I swear, I'm looking at the BioCare products and I'm seeing mostly like protein bars and shakes, right? So does Robard have like full meal replacements then? You said that some people are using this like as their sole source of food. So what do you have other than soup? And what kind of soup?
So our Robard product line, I'll just mention our 2 flagship products, which is New Metra and New Direction. High protein products. In addition to shakes and smoothies, we also offer other product categories such as soups. We also have entrees and light entrees. We have your favorites, right? We have cream of chicken soup. We have minestrone soup. At one point in time, we had a cream of broccoli soup. But we really take our feedback directly from customers, from their patients, and we either add or subtract accordingly so we can remain fresh and relevant. But we also have great light entree options as well that are high protein, low calorie, low carbohydrate. So we have things like mac and cheese. We have vegetarian sloppy joe. We have fettuccine alfredo. We have cheesesteak pasta. So a lot of really cool things.
Hungry now.
I don't want to, let the cat out of the bag, but some that may be forthcoming on the BioCare side.
we have working very hard to take what we know and are great at in the Robard world and adapt it for the GLP-1 community. So we're very close. We're not quite there yet, but we are working on taking some of these product lines and bringing them to BioCare, because we know, again, you have so many options. And if you can get something from a brand that you trust that has great quality protein, that goes back to really what this community needs, rather than just picking up any whatever mac and cheese that just says protein. Now you can get from, a more trusted source. So it is something that's been a very high priority.
Place that does third-party testing.
Exactly. So it is on the radar, and that's all I can tell you right now.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
That is so exciting. Okay, first of all, you said there's a lot of people moving to telehealth. And I think that the GLP-1 world has really lit a fire under that space, and they're just multiplying like crazy. And you know what? We love it. We love telehealth services. I love seeing my doctor online and having all the resources that I need by phone or app.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Again, to the whole point of we shop online. We also don't want to have to go into the doctor's office if we don't have to.
To hear a story, we're lucky enough that we work 10 hours and have Fridays off. So that is huge. But I see and hear it all the time from patients and people too, who are like, I can't even see my doctor because I have to take a whole day off and I can't afford to take a day off. So having, an option to take your lunch break and get on a Zoom call with your doctor ensures that people are staying on track, that they're keeping up with their health, that alone, regardless of the telemeds and compounds and all that fun stuff. But that's helped people just stay healthy as well, or at least keep things top of mind.
And I bring that up because I've noticed that just a couple now, but probably more in the future, some telehealth companies have started selling their own meal kits
Yeah.
because us GLP-1 patients, we don't always have time to cook. I don't have time to cook. The best that I can do most days is pop a frozen meal that says high protein on it
Exactly.
into the microwave. And my husband is like, "Oh, you're buying these bougie frozen meals." And I'm like, "Do you want me to get my protein in?
Right.
Do you want me to eat my vegetables today? Because I do not have
We'll
time
send
to
you some
make
of
it."
our entrees.
Yeah, you're going to be on the taste test list.
Yay, I love it. I love it. Don't tease me.
Yeah. Oh, I will. It's more so for me because the food noise and everything is gone. I'm like, I know I have to eat. I don't know what I want to eat. I will gladly cook a meal. I just don't, nothing sound like there's not that trigger anymore where I'm like, oh, this sounds like it would be so good tonight. I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
I have to eat again.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm enjoying food, but you're right. I don't know what I want to eat most days. I just know I want to get what I'm supposed to in. And I really just do not have the time. Give me something that I can make in 5 minutes, please, with the least amount of ingredients. So if I could just honestly, if someone could just tell me what to eat every day. And I think that's what a lot of patients are going through because I've spoken to a lot of dietitians who their services are going through the roof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like these patients, we don't ironically care less about food now. Now we're like, how do we hit our goals? How do we do it safely? How do we not lose hair?
Oh my
You know what
God.
I mean? How do we not have our skin sag? And all of this is very tied into nutrition.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, Caroline and I were speaking about this even coming out of the OMA as we were speaking with people, among other things, including that customer that impromptu showed up at
Yeah.
the BioCare community event, is that, the traditional model in our industry has always been, here's your calorie plan, right? You're on a 1,200 calorie plan or a 1,500 calorie plan, and this is what you eat. Well, guess what? Today's, I don't even want to call them dieter, but today's individual that wants to lead a healthier lifestyle, they don't care about their calories. They don't care about their carbohydrate intake. What they really care about right now is, am I getting enough protein? And so, Caroline and I were talking about something profound, as we shared with you earlier a minute, right? People are, they get a little intimidated by some of the we're going against the traditional grain. But we were thinking about replacing our caloric meal plans with our protein intake plans that
Oh, I like that.
helps them identify and structure an easy to follow format to ensuring that they're getting the proper protein in that they need.
And also considering for GLP-1 users specifically, for me, I take my shot Sunday night. I have to tailor my plan throughout the week that I would rather have more meal replacements and protein shakes in the beginning of the week because I just cannot fathom the thought of a meal. But throughout the week, I am adding more and more meals in, but I want to prioritize protein. I want to prioritize fiber because I don't want to take extra supplements. So how do we build a meal plan that also talks to how your body changes every single day?
Yes, it's very true. Day one, you're just not as hungry. And so what a lot of people are doing is preloading with protein before they take that shot because they know they're not going to be hungry. And then we're hungrier by the end of the week. We know it's shot day or that shot day is coming.
Yesterday, oh my God, I was in heaven. My sister's a pastry chef and she gave my husband and I a box of chocolate chip cookies. And in a normal sense, I'd be like, whatever. I was like, oh my God, I can have 2 cookies today. This is a big thing. And then 8 o'clock rolls around and my husband's like, okay, let's go. You got to take your shot. Let's stop with big cookies.
It's the little things that matter.
It makes sense. But I could have a fresh batch when I got home today and I would be like, absolutely not. But I also have started to learn beyond just eating, I know what's going to make me feel better. Like tonight I'll go home and I'll still have a full meal, but a salad with steak. Red meat for me, it works. It's a good solution. But if I had it with something starchy or something else, I would feel horrible.
Yeah.
But I have learned what works throughout the week too, to make sure that I don't feel gross, which is another thing that users are struggling with.
throughout interviews with some patients, I'm learning that they're experiencing this as well, where we live with inflammation, chronic inflammation, and it's absolutely horrible. And you think it's just a regular part of life. This is how I'm always going to feel. Pop an ibuprofen, go about my business. You get on a GLP-1, that inflammation starts to go away. You really notice it when you eat the pizza or whatever it is that brings it back. And now you're uncomfortable, you're in pain, and maybe you're having some bowel issues. Whatever we eat truly does have an effect that we notice now.
Great. Yep. Well said.
Yeah. At least I don't know if you've ever experienced this like early on. If I feel a little nauseous or any sort of the side effects, immediately I want to go to like a comfort food. I want to go to like a pretzel or a cracker. And then I'm like, that's going to make me feel even worse than I feel now. Like trying to balance that too. But that's where BioCare has come in for me is, okay, that's really helpful. And prioritizing protein and vitamins where it's still this mental, oh, I just want a bowl of rice or pasta or potatoes, which is clearly my problem is starchy, carby food. But it's interesting. I don't know if you experienced anything like that.
I have heard quite a bit that people on GLP-1s have an increased dairy intake. I don't know if it's true for you, but I am eating yogurt and cheese like I have never eaten it before. It's so soothing to my stomach.
Interesting. I personally don't like yogurt, but I am like, for me, cheese, like a charcuterie board, a cheese board, snacks, I could live off of that. But I have significantly decreased my intake of dairy.
That's two extremes.
Yeah.
Most people I've interviewed are like, oh yeah, I could live off of only yogurt and be happy for the rest of my life. And then I read an article about that where people are having more yogurt and cheese. So it's really interesting hearing your perspective, but every body is different, right?
For sure.
Interesting. I mean, Robard does have a lot of prebiotics, probiotics, a lot of protein. It's not for me.
Well, Amanda, you must love our products because we use dairy proteins in our products,
Yeah,
right?
we do.
So, but really at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're looking to lose weight. It doesn't matter if you're looking to just take better care of your body and eat better, consume better nutrition, or you're looking to leverage a product that actually works to help reduce your side effects while providing you with the proper protein and maintaining lean muscle mass. We are that one-stop shop solution. And, getting back to something earlier. So Caroline had mentioned, technology component, telemedicine, the convenience of all of that. Robard used to be a three-legged stool, right? We were product, program, and services. Well, now we're a firm four-legged stool because we've added technology as that fourth leg. So, we're continuing to build, we're continuing to listen, we're continuing to learn, and we're continuing to adapt. And we've been here for 50 years, and I feel confident we're going to be here for many more decades to follow.
I feel like that's the perfect ending, but there's more I want to share.
Okay.
Go for it.
Love it.
You're right. Telehealth is growing, and a lot of these people are selling their own meal kits. And so is it your plan to try to expand to a lot of these telehealth companies that you haven't been working with before and offer your products to them so that patients can get a hold of them through them?
In short, yes, that is the plan. In fact, we were just meeting with our president about this last week, discussing our strategy. But yes, that is definitely within our strategic focus.
And I know the last 2 years, GLP-1s are changing the entire healthcare industry. And I'm not sure if you heard the presidential announcement about most favored nation pricing and these medications being covered by Medicare, but that is going to potentially open the door. Not potentially, that is going to open the door. It's going to open the floodgates. So we will be seeing millions of people getting on these medications who could not afford them previously. I would love to see Robard and BioCare supporting these patients because they're going to come in with all sorts of questions and unknowns. And I'm so glad that you have a community focus rather than just, pushing sales.
Well, and I think that's where like our strategy from even a TikTok standpoint and all of that, we've got our BioCare page. My personal page is starting to be dedicated to this. This is something that we want people to know that they can, you don't have to ask me, you can ask someone else. You can, whatever. Like we have so many people within the community that are in such different phases of their journey that we trust them. We know you can trust them. We can reach out on your behalf, whatever that is. You have a direct line to us in our comments and our DMs that I think it's so important to let people know that this is going to be uncomfortable. This is going to be scary. This is going to be something that's brand new. This is going to be something that is going to be life-changing, whether you know that or not. I mean, you might think I'm just losing some weight, or I'm doing this for sleep apnea, or, I'm not even doing this for weight loss, but you're still going to go on a whole new journey that you would have never anticipated. And we want to let people know that we're traveling, we're meeting people in real time, we're having all these conversations. Again, I'm not sitting here being like, okay, buy BioCare because this is what it includes and this is how much it costs. Like, yes, that's there, but that's not the number one focus. The number one focus is making sure that people stay healthy, they get the proper nutrition, and that they understand why they're doing all of this. We're building better habits. We're making really major life decisions beyond, let me shed 20 pounds, get off the meds, and then gain 30.
We're trying to show them the pathway so they can sustain this long term. They don't have to go through it alone. Caroline had shared before, it's a scary process for a lot of people. Between the support and the assistance that they get from their clinicians, their dietitians, their nutritionists, whomever, we're also providing them with tools and resources to help better educate those patients so they do have a very smooth journey. And again, I go back to say, as these partnerships now take place, right, through the different pharma companies via that of the White House. Yes, this is going to continue to grow and get larger and be available to tens of millions of more Americans, right, than it is right now at more affordability, regardless of what it is, whether it's, again, weight loss, healthy nutrition, where they need some assistance while they're taking GLP-1 medications with consuming a product that truly does work, not only for side effects, but also works with muscle mass. We firmly believe we have those product solutions because at the end of the day, just like the GLP-1 medication, it's a tool. Our products are a tool, right? But you have to know how to use those tools. If you're a carpenter or anybody in a trade, a mechanic, you have to know how to use those tools to be effective and to be good at what you're doing and to have a good outcome, to have a good result. We're merely providing those tools and we're providing the resources so they know how to properly use those tools.
Which is what the goal is anyway. It's longevity, it's health, it's not just weight loss. So I would like to end off talking about what's upcoming for BioCare's community. Where are you taking us next?
Okay, so
Fun topic.
On our world domination tour.
Oh, I love it. Spicy.
We're manifesting this. This is where we go live on TikTok every Wednesday. So this is our manifestation room. Our official next stop is going to be San Diego in April, which we are extremely excited for. We've started teasing it. We're going to be out there, Mario and I, for a separate conference about obesity medicine. So we're going to be back in the community. There is a very good chance we will be in Texas, in San Antonio come May. We have discussed New York and DC after the holidays because that is, a really easy train ride for us. And then potentially Nashville in October. And that's the short list. So we are coming. We already have a couple people in certain areas who have been like, we're going to be there. We can't wait. So we're going to continue down this path. And again, I love to do it, one, because it's just extremely fun. But we get to hear real-time feedback. And also we just came back from Obesity Week. Like, all of these things that we've said internally that we've never said to anyone outside of these four walls were completely validated, which
that is amazing.
It's incredible to know that, okay, we're on the right path. We're listening to you guys. We take everything you say, good, bad, and different, seriously. Like, I scroll TikTok till God knows what hour, just listening to what people are talking about. Like, I'm, emailing in the middle of the night, like, this person just launched protein popcorn. This person has this flavor pretzel. Like, we are so in tune. So we're excited to keep meeting you guys.
So how can people RSVP?
We will add all of the information on our website. We have a page for GLP-1 meetups. So not only will we post the BioCare sponsored meetups, but any other meetups that people are having, whether or not we can be there in person or if we can be there in spirit, we will post them on our page just to let the community know, here's how to meet each other. Here's what else you can do. BioCare will be there in some way, shape, or form. I will send stuff if I have to. So on our site, under resources, GLP-1 meetups, all of the information will get updated there.
Okay, that's super exciting. I will definitely come to you when I have a meetup that I'm planning on going to so we can get it on that calendar. And I'll
Yeah.
make sure that I'm putting your meetups out there as well. I can't wait to see you in April.
Yes. Yes.
Let's go.
We're very excited about this one. We're very excited.
Caroline's goal is to see BioCare baddies running around in
Yeah.
every major city in the United States.
That is the ultimate.
I don't think she'll rest until she accomplishes
I
that.
probably won't.
Yeah.
Well, I've been converted. So thank you both so much. It was so fantastic to meet you both in person and then to be able to have this interview and really share with the world what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
We appreciate you, Amanda. Thank you so much.
We appreciate you so much more than you know.
Bye, guys. See you in April.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
If you've made it to the end of this episode, I am eternally grateful for your support. Thank you for watching, listening, sharing, commenting, reviewing, subscribing, and following along wherever we are. If you're not on Substack yet, I urge you to head over there. You can stay up to date on the latest GLP-1 meetups and super important information that you do not want to miss in the GLP-1 world. You are the lifeblood of this podcast, and I would not be doing it without you. You deserve nothing but the most merriest of Christmases. I hope you have the happiest holidays. I love you, and I'll see you next time.
This isn't just a podcast. This is a movement. When you advocate for yourself, you advocate for all of us.